All right. Yes, so excited to have you. Reiki, Body Talk, AcuConnect. Ooh, I like the sounds of AcuConnect. I'll have to find out more about that. That was from Amy. Courtney says, I have not done remote healing before. So excited to be here. Yeah, I'm so excited you were all here too. I couldn't think of a better thing to do to focus our energy. As Einstein is attributed to saying, and Raymond Grace, my teacher, always says that energy follows thought, energy follows intention, right? So, what we're doing is we're gathering up our powerful intention, and human beings are so much more powerful than most of them have realized. But you know your power. You're beginning to tap into the power that you have. That's why you're here. So the first thing that I want you all to do, as you take a deep breath in and breathe yourself all the way here, a nice full deep breath in through the nose, and like in a circle out through the mouth, building that power, activating your spinal column, really appreciating for a moment what this supercomputer, your body and your mind, does all the time, and how the further we research and learn in the quantum world about quantum physics, quantum mechanics, quantum entanglement, we circle back around to what the shamans have always known. The shamans were the first neuroscience hackers. And so here we are in the oldest technology ever, and we're stepping into the future. Both are true. So I'm going to start with my slides, and I would love for you all to tell me if you can see the slides. If somebody could just give me a thumbs up that as I'm shifting my slides, you can see them. We know that we bring a gift with our vibration and our frequency. The best gift we can give is the frequency that we emit. And it takes a lot to cultivate our energy, and we become a gift. If we do energy work and we do energy cultivation continuously, if that becomes the way that we live our life, then what happens is we do become a gift in every room that we walk in every environment we are in. We change the atmosphere. That's what this is about. Okay, this is about you getting better and better at cultivating your energy as the superhero, supercomputer that you are, as an ascended master in training. That is what we are doing tonight. Okay, I want to give thanks right here off the bat. I want to say thank you to every single one of you that can come on live, because I think your energetic presence is so powerful when we join forces like this. And also for all those of you who cannot attend live that are going to be watching this replay, it's going to be just as powerful for you when you receive this group transmission that we are going to give you. Because tonight we give a gift to ourselves. When we send this energy out, it multiplies. It comes back to us. Something that I love to do, whether I'm teaching Qigong, whether I'm teaching energy work, which I do all the time, is something that my beautiful dear friend Nicole showed me. Call back to you right now, right in this moment as you breathe. Call back to you all the love that you've given out. Because you see, love multiplies and expands in a quantum way. The frequency of love is so powerful that right now in this moment, you can build energy, you can build power simply by calling all the love, all the help, all the blessings and service that you've given out over your entire lifetime. I want you to call that to you right now. It does not take it away from the person and the people and the land and the creatures that you gave it to. That's not how love works. Love expands, and there's plenty of it for us to enjoy and let it boomerang back into ourselves and fill our cup, because that is also what's going to happen with this work. Your cup is going to be full. You are going to leave tonight more energized. You're going to feel brighter and stronger. You might even be standing a little bit taller because your spinal column will be so energized, like the powerhouse circuitry system that it is. And I want to talk for a minute here at the very beginning about your energy anatomy and how it's changing. And the reason that I really wanted to do this now. Your energetic field is not the way it was when you learned other types of healing techniques. That's what's been so important for me to share this information with you all now, because all we could do beforehand when we were in a more dense energetic space, frequency, and dimension is speculate on what the Mayan calendar meant when it stopped at 2012, what the Hopi prophecy meant when it said that the world was going to end. All we could do was speculate about what human design was saying when it talked about by 2027, we're going to be on a different collective frequency. Okay. What is so special about you doing this with me right here, right now, is as the earth is changing very much, the earth is in such a transformative journey process right now, energetically speaking, so are we. Our bodies are not the same. You have all of these portals that you now have access to in such a greater way than, say, I did in 2002 when I learned Reiki technique distance healing. In 2002, when I learned my first style of distance healing, I could have really powerful experiences that blew my mind, but I could only do so much. And what you have the ability to tap into now is extraordinary. And I am so happy for you. I'm so happy for you to be igniting this right now, right here with me, with all of us together. Because what we're going to share tonight is something that we will carry with us in our vibrational energy field, in our heart portal, and in our minds forever from this point forward. So in this 2 hours that we're going to spend together, I'm going to give you an overview of my life's work over the last 22 years of how I've been doing distance energy healing and in-person energy healing, how I kind of stumbled into doing the distance work, and now I really love it. I want to take you on this journey because I want to show you different styles. And I want you to see that there's not one way to do distance energy work. You have the ability to set the course of your own way and be so creative about the way that you're going to do this, because that's just how miraculous and magnificent you are. I always say that my niche, the people that I'm here to serve and teach and help and lead, are the miracle workers. It goes far beyond people who do a particular healing style, or if you're a coach, or if you are an energy healer, or if you're a massage therapist, if you're a yoga teacher, if you're a shamanic practitioner, or if you came on this call tonight and you've never, ever done anything like this. I am so excited, because this is the time that I want everybody stepping into their birthright, their natural abilities to do positive things and help out wherever they want to, whenever they want to, and be completely empowered to do that. So I see that some of you have worked with the remote healing through Reiki training. There's Greg. Angie has not done remote healing, but excited to learn. Woohoo! Priscilla has done remote healing with me. We've worked together. Yes. And you've had a sound healing session. Yay. I'm glad you're here too, Priscilla. Debbie says, never done energy work, but have experienced results from energy work done on me. Yes. All right. So you're all coming from different perspectives and experiences that you've had. How beautiful is this? Diane says, first experience. Woo, woo. Yes. And thank you all for being brave. There's really something to be said for a person who will carve out time in their life to set an intention that will ripple out and create new energy imprints. This is how we're changing the world, y'all. And we are changing it. The world is changing. We are adapting. We are evolving to new ways. Another thing I want to give thanks for right here, right now, is that we have this technology so that we can connect. It's easy to look at the certain sides of technology that are maybe not so great. Okay. And I speak from experience of that. I'm someone who was so repelled by technology that the very fact that I can be on here and do this with you is a miracle. And that's what I want you to feel really empowered about. I was so resistant to technology, but look at the magic and the connection and the community that we have right now, where we're in all time zones, all over the place. Okay. And we are more powerful together because that's how humans work best. We are tribal collective culture. And now with the advancements in technology and the way that you can help out, you can help anyone you want to anywhere. You can share anything you want. The shamans of old always knew how to do this. But now we get to take it to another level. We get to create that fire circle, create that ceremonial circle with anybody we want to, anybody in the entire world. And I'm going to go a step further with that when we're talking about how extraordinary your body and your energetic field is. So you have these portals. You have the portal of your mind, your throat center that creates, your heart portal is a galactic stargate. And when you start to learn how to use it, things happen that are beyond your wildest dreams you could have done and that are physically possible. That was a quote I loved about quantum physics. I found a quote. Let me see if I can pull it up because I found it after I did my little slideshow. Basically, my quote said that quantum physics starts to make you realize all the limitations that you felt you had are not there. That the physical blockages that we used to think were like the laws that, oh, well, we can't do this because of this, this is reality. It starts to change your version of reality. And just like usual, I got people trying to get in and they can't find their Zoom link. And I always tell them, you better save this Zoom link, but I'll give it to them. It's okay. Let's see, send this to a couple more people. Zoom links are funny, so we'll see. Maybe they can pop on. So what exactly is remote or distance energy healing? Remote energy healing is a form of energy work in which the healer directs healing energy to a person, place, or situation without having to be physically present with them. Through intention, focus, and specific energetic techniques, the healer connects to the recipient's energy field and provides healing support, whether the recipient is across the room or across the world. Remote healing can address physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual issues, often fostering a sense of peace, clarity, and well-being. I'm going to take you through 3, and there's way more at the very end of this time together. I'm going to list out for you lots of different styles and techniques that you might want to explore. but I'm going to take you through kind of like in a reverse engineering way, what I do now and how I work best with remote healing. I'll show you that in a personal sense when it's just something that I want to direct energy to, like say what I brought in for this night is for my mountains. The whole reason that this idea came to me is I want to direct my love and my intention toward the mountains that I love so much in Western North Carolina with very specific places and people in mind. So I'm going to start with what I currently do, which is a lot different than where I started when I began doing remote healing work well, I'll say this. I learned my Reiki remote healing techniques in 2002. I didn't really begin to use them until probably around 2009 because I learned the symbols in Reiki and I learned the protocol and we did the exercises in Reiki class and it was fun and it was exciting and it was different. But you're talking about a hands-on healer, massage therapist. I was so tactile. Touch is my love language. So that's another thing that's really interesting about someone like me coming so far to do work like this. And many of you have heard the story about me, and I was probably like 22 years old, something like that, when I went to hear this psychic. She was giving a talk in Greensboro, North Carolina, and she's standing up there talking, and she's like, I see clients all around the world and I do these healing sessions with them and I'm a medical intuitive and I tell them this and this about their bodies. And here I am, this 22-year-old, I'm like, wait, what? What? And I'm sure many of you have heard me tell this story where I'm like, how do you work with these clients when you're not actually physically with them? I'm such a skeptic. I'm such a doubting Thomas. Okay. So, um, she dismissed my question and it was so hilarious because she went, because I understand how energy works and you don't. Next question. And it was exactly true. And I was like, oh, I'm so mad right now. So here I am, many, many years later. Now I'm 50 and this is my life's work. How funny is that? That was one of those shaman's blows. So if you're that kind of person that's like, if I can't touch somebody, I don't really know how to do this. I hope that this night might empower you and take you through a doorway of possibilities and opportunities of what's available to you. Because I would have never thought that. So light body activation is something that's been very helpful for me. And my lineage on that comes from Sanaya Roman and Dwayne Packer, who teach the Awakening Your Light Body course. They have now crossed over. They are no longer in this realm, but they were wonderful teachers for me of the energetic anatomy that we now have access to, free and clear. You are more in your light body, or what we consider, and many people call it the Merkaba energy field that we're going to talk about tonight as well. That teaching came to me first from Drun Velo Melchizedek. So I'm just giving you a little bit of the family tree lineage of where these teachings are coming from tonight. So light body has been a huge influence on how easily I can access the quantum field, the heart field, and tune myself to the frequency of someone anywhere on the planet now. And not only be able to gain a lot of information about them, but be able to make a difference, be able to have them feel the work that we're doing in a way that is so powerful to feel it that they start to go, this is real. Whoa, this is not just like two people just like, yeah, we're just talking on the phone. My sessions now are more half tutorial. I want them doing this work. I want them to put their hands where I wish I could put my hand. I want them to tune in to what I'm sensing is going on in their body and feel it. I want them to connect to all the allies and all the helpers they have on all levels, whether it's plants, animals, gemstones, all the kingdoms that we have to work with that are available to us and love us and work with us in the unseen realms. It's really beautiful, this kind of work. So that's my first lineage, is light body training. And I will have all kinds of websites and resources for you. If you want a handout, I'm super big into like PDFs. I'll be sending out a little PDF resource guide so that you don't have to try to like write all that down right now. If you like to take notes, great, but know that you're going to get a resource guide with all of these links. Okay. So my second lineage and way I've been working with remote healing for a long time is in shamanic practice. I have worked and trained with too many indigenous teachers for me to list here. I listed a few, but there are too many to count, because my life's work has been studying and soaking up all of the ancient wisdom of all of our indigenous brothers and sisters and bringing back those ways in a very multicultural, inclusive way of finding what works and applying that in modern times for our lives right now. That's what I'm curious about. And my work now is just a combination of so many people's work. But also, I'm going to show you my style of things I've come up with that are very helpful and quick, easy, and effective for you to use. I like to use Raymond Grace, his work, and he didn't come up with the distance healing techniques that he does either. He, a lot like me, he did a lot of studying and even living with Native American tribes. And he was the same way, where he was like, I want to figure out how to make this life work and how to heal this body, this mind, these emotions. Our emotions are so electrical. There's so much power there with the emotions. And we're really going to go into that, because when you harness the power of your emotions, you tap into what's going to make you really effective at distance healing work. And there's a skill set. There's a definite skill set to it. And then the third, final, and oldest style that I've been using is the Reiki distance healing. Yeah, first time Zoomer. We got a first time Zoomer in here. Yes. Let me see. Let me make sure my people here. All right. Yeah, y'all made it. I feel like too, I need to put that disclaimer with Zoom. It's like you got to try your links a couple different ways, a couple different times. Zoom links are weird, but overall, even if you have trouble coming in, how beautiful is it that wherever you are right now, we can connect and we can connect our hearts together. What I do first and foremost when I'm going to work with a client, number one, I don't connect with them on Zoom. I have friends, and I'm going to show you their techniques, and they do. They have their client on Zoom for a remote healing session. For me, it's about the phone, because the phone allows me to see with my inner vision. That is my strongest sense in human design, is my inner sight. And so I really need to be using my pineal gland, my third eye, when I do remote healing work, and not looking at a screen. So I want you to keep that in mind, that as we try different things during this journey, during this time together, some things are going to work well for you. Some things are not. That's why I wanted to show you techniques that I've played around in and danced with all these years, because even though I don't use the Reiki distance healing symbol that much anymore, you may love it. You may make up your own symbol. That's what I want you really feeling free about during the course of our time together. It's so empowering to realize that every one of these techniques that I'm going to show you, somebody made it up, right? Someone was creative enough to make that symbol. And then they put all their intention into, that's like dialing up a phone number, okay? And it's just like Sanskrit, Hebrew, these high vibrational codes. How did they come into existence? Somebody had to be visionary enough to create and to place their intention somewhere. And so every single time you do energy healing work, you are putting all of your intention somewhere. And that's very empowering. So the first thing I want you to do is just feel into what kind of a sacred space have you created for yourself for tonight. I'm really big on your online learning space to be a healing space. That requires engaging your senses so that you have pleasure, so that you see beautiful images. I've put lots of sacred geometry within the class tonight. Music that I was playing before we got going, that's all healing frequency music. So you're getting like the Hertz frequencies. There are so many ways you can delight and work with your senses that will raise your vibration, because everything that we're doing tonight, if you're going to be good at it, it's about raising your vibration and cultivating your energy. So what does this mean exactly? How do you lift your frequency so that you can be better at intuitively connecting in with someone, and also just feel good while you're doing this kind of work? Because you're only going to be good at doing distance energy healing work if you feel good. And I'm going to say that all the way through because oddly enough, that's the hardest part of it. And let me give you an example of what I mean by that. If you love someone and they are really going through something, or if, like for me, when I went over to Western North Carolina, and it was the most horrific thing I've ever seen with my own two eyes, I had to come home and I had to tend to my eyes. Truly, my eyes were traumatized by what they saw. I had healing work to do on me first. So it's always going to be cultivate this vessel, this beautiful technology, this amazing architecture that is designed for healing. We have to do our self-care first. So how do you cultivate your energy? I'd love for you to throw that in the chat and tell me what really works for you. Do you do breath work? Like I was saying, if you're coming in from a long, hard day and you're exhausted for this and you're like, man, I wish I was more energized and pumped up to do this work tonight. Breath, fire breath. You can Google that one. You can look up YouTube's on just a quick 2-minute fire breathing exercise. Circular breathing, holotropic breath work. There's so many different things you can do in terms of just energizing and creating this hormonal, like pharmaceutical lab inside of yourself. And you can cultivate that energy and that power from the inside instead of reaching for that espresso or a piece of chocolate or whatever it is on the outside to give you a boost, because of course that kind of energy is short-lived. You are this alchemical laboratory. The more you learn how to use what you got, of course, the better you're going to be at doing remote healing and everything else. I can't say enough about movement, and that's why in the beginning of a 2-hour class like this one, I put the music on and I want you guys just like mute your screen and dance, just dance, or do qigong, tap. Even right now, if you haven't yet and you need to do a little tapping to wake up your central nervous system, EFT tapping. EFT is also a distance healing technique. So remember that you have all these natural abilities to cultivate you, which is the only way that you're going to be good at doing remote energy healing. Okay. So back to, if you are worried about someone that you love, think about how that brings your vibrational frequency down. You cannot match them in an aligned frequency state that is going to take them to a higher place. You cannot match them until you feel good. Because if you come at it from worry, we know what worry is. Worry is a prayer. It's a prayer technology. We are actually manifesting and bringing into existence, especially when we have our thoughts combined with strong emotion. When our thoughts are combined together with a really strong emotion, which is an electrical charge, we are creating in that moment. So people are not just being creative when they are painting on a canvas or drawing in their sketchbook. They're creating every single second of every single day. That's why I thought this was so important right now, because we see so many people in a panic. We see so much division, and it takes some work to shift into being the alchemist and saying, whew, I've got to feel good so that I can tend to all this. I have to cultivate the kind of feeling that I want to feel in order to connect on that level, in order to lift someone else up where I am. That is a skill set, my friends. What's going to help you do that is raising your frequency with sun gazing, grounding to the earth, high frequency nutrition, everything you can do on every level to cultivate you. It's going to make you much more helpful for everyone around you, because worrying about them is not going to do it. But I can tell you from experience, the closer they are to you, the more you love them, the more emotionally wrapped up you are in the outcome of their experience, the harder it is to step out of all that, elevate your frequency, and that's what we're going to talk about first, okay? So the very first exercise that I would like for us to do is I would like for you to connect in for a minute as you relax your body. Connect in to the power of your mind and that beautiful center of the pineal gland, the ajna, the sixth chakra here in the center of your head. I'd like for you to just connect into that beautiful power source of your mind and how you are projecting out and creating reality with what you visualize and how you are manifesting what you think about. And you might even want to take your left hand and place it over your forehead. This is calming to the central nervous system. This will get you out of fight or flight right here, right now. It will drop you in. Let's drop in together, because all this Zoom and all this talking and sitting in front of a screen, it's very mental. So the first place we go to connect is at our sixth chakra, the third eye, pineal gland area, and the brain. Your left hand, this is energy work. Your left hand is very cooling to your brain. So as you calm your central nervous system down, I want you to just see what visualization comes forth, what mental projection, what imagery comes forth from what you are bringing to this healing work tonight. What do you visualize? Do you visualize a beautiful world cleaned up from pollution? Do you visualize harmony with humanity? Humanity working together as a brotherhood and sisterhood of unity? Do you visualize optimal health for someone that you love, someone that you're concerned about? Are you working on refining the vision that you're holding of that person to take it from maybe they've been sick or challenged in some way and you want to see them in radiant strength and vibrant health? Just want you to think about, what are you envisioning? You can let that hand go, roll out the shoulders, shake it out. But remember that little energy healing technique, because it's literally just left hand. It needs to be the left one, because your body is like a battery. And so that's what I'm constantly teaching the people that I work with in remote sessions is they can do it. They can place their hand in a particular area and create balance in this gorgeous battery, because we're charging these batteries tonight, okay? So I want you to just hold that vision with your mind of who you want to place in front of you tonight, who you want to work on, or what scenario or situation or a piece of land, a specific geographic location. And what I would also love to open up to you and offer to you tonight is there's great power in inspired action. So if your healing intention, because this is all about us harnessing the power of our intention tonight, if your intention is to amplify and to really send healing in every way possible, feel free to put who you are working on, what you are working on, what you are bringing healing to in the chat. Because that potent, inspired action that's very shamanic for you to either write it down in your journal or put it in the chat so that we can all hold that intention for you. But as we go, I'm going to give you more specifics on how to fine tune this and how to actually really be effective with what you're doing. All I wanted you to do first off is just visualize, okay? Now I want you to drop down into your heart. All right, you've thought about it. Now I want you to feel about it and come into this gorgeous heart portal in the center of your chest. Sometimes this takes a little bit of work because we can think about the things that we wish would change. We can think about how we imagine the world to be better, or someone could feel better or be healthy or whatever it is. That's a very, very different process than getting down in your heart. What if you're like, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do anything but think about it. Then I want you to do this exercise with me, because this is what I do with my clients. I get down into my heart. I get out of my head. I've already set my intentions. I've already done my research. I already have a game plan for how the session's going to go. I take my time and I breathe myself down in, and it's almost like a spiral vortex current that takes me down. Like if you imagine a leaf going down a drain, I go down into my heart space. I use my breath, my imagination, and my intention. I imagine this portal in the center of my chest beginning to open into this gorgeous, vast, energetic field. It's a different energetic field than my aura, my egg-shaped aura that goes out and out and out around me. Okay, this one, to me, is just like if you're standing in the ocean and the ocean goes as far as you can see, or you're standing in the desert and it's just vast, and the flat plane of the desert just goes on and on and on. Mine looks to me, my heart field looks like rings of Saturn. Okay. And so I imagine these rings going out, and there's like a plane that extends out from me, from my heart, and I can find you. And I can connect to you heart to heart. And in that moment, if you're in a remote healing session with me, boom, you're right in front of me. And I do this when I'm with someone in session many times. I sit with my chakras in the front body chakras facing that person. I like to get right up to them and connect my hands to their hands. Your hands are really powerful, powerful energy healing tools. Okay. So I imagine that I'm circulating the power from my palm chakras here. That is my love, my heart energy, and it's coming through my arms, into my hands, into them, and it's creating this reciprocal infinity current that's flowing from my hands and my heart into your hands and into your heart. And in that moment, we have created a third energy. We have created a force field that is so strong because it is the power of our love. And there's nothing that we can't create or transmute in that moment. And everything gets really intimate because I've dropped in with this person when I'm in my heart. All right. So if you're like, I still don't know how to do that, this is new to me, I'm just used to operating up here and just thinking about energy, thinking about healing, I want you to take a minute and access something that you love. It could be an animal. It could be a person. They might even be crossed over on the other side. Does not matter. But when you feel and when you access your heart, tears usually come. When you take a moment to breathe into your heart space and focus on what you dearly love. Another thing that will help you drop in when you want to go from your head into your heart is to think if there's been a moment in your life where you felt like you were in your soul purpose, a moment where you were like, I was meant to do this. Whatever it was that happened, it could have been when you had a child. It could have been loving and protecting an animal. It could be soul purpose work that you do where you give back and you help your community. You will know because you will feel it if you work on accessing all that. Okay. And then from your heart, everything gets different about what you are wanting to set an intention for, what you're wanting to put action toward. Inspired action is very different when it comes from the heart space than when it comes from your mind. Thank you, Courtney. Your mom's surgery is in 2 weeks. Health and anxiety around that, and sending love for the election tomorrow. Yes. And what I wanted to tell you all is this is what's so great about having a skill set is if you are in a space of division, if you are in a mindset of worry, it's going to take you a while to step out of that and cultivate the energy to feel good. Because you can't do this stuff unless you feel good, okay? And so that takes some time. I'm going to repeat that a lot tonight because distance healing doesn't work from coming from that place of like, I'm worried about this. This is bothering me. That is a vibration that is not conducive to healing work at all, right? So it's quite courageous and brave for you all to be here tonight because you've got to bring all your pieces to a feel-good space. And I'll tell you something else. If you want to do this for a living, think about that. The only reason that I can't do a session is if I can't get out of my own way. But if I can raise my vibration and feel good, that is my number one job. If I feel good, miracles will happen in session. And I can just show up with an open heart and get in my heart. And the cool thing about doing it too is I'll have the best laid plan, right? They'll tell me like what's going on with their body or what's going on in their career, their marriage, or whatever has brought them to this session, because I always ask them before a session, what is your intentions? So that I can incorporate their intentions and their prayers into my prayers and my meditation time when I prep for the energy healing that I'm going to do. So they can tell me all this stuff and I have ideas up here, right? And I have these ideas of like, oh, we could do this and this would help. And this tool out of my toolbox could really help with all the modalities that we train in over the years, right? And then you drop in together. You connect your hearts and it's all different. It's all different because my mind isn't guiding the show. And so if someone has been in a really mentally focused career, and if they're used to living up here, this is work. This is work to get into the heart space. When you access that toroidal heart field, you're getting worked on too. That's what makes it so beautiful. You're feeling better because you did the work. How cool is that? So how can you hold this frequency? How can you hold the frequency when everything in life seems to want to knock us like to a lower frequency? This is my life. Anybody who wants to do healing work professionally as their livelihood, everything we do matters. Every thought we think is strategic and artistic. It's creating our world. It's important. Every bit of music you play, every bit of social media or media on the TV is programming your frequency. I want to impress upon you the magnitude of the responsibility of it, because your frequency is your full-time job every waking moment. And the better you get at it, it won't just be in the waking moments. You'll be doing healing work in your sleep, in the astral as well. I want you to take a deep breath right now and come back to that person, that situation, that location, whatever it is that you wanted to bring into our collective healing power tonight. And now I want you to imagine doing with them what I told you I do with my clients. I want you to imagine that situation is either in front of you at your heart, at heart level, or that person is sitting right there in front of you. Okay. That's a good one, Feather. Yeah, that's a real good one. Indigo is a dog that we love, and so she's setting an intention for Indigo's healthy skin. This is so good to be strategic with these things, and I'll tell you why. Because it's easier to focus on the observation that you already have in your mind of however the condition of the skin has been, correct? Okay. So when you get into the heart field and you hold Indigo, which is a dog, holding Indigo in your awareness and beginning to beautify his skin. All right. That's where imagination comes in with breath, comes to play with intention, because you need all three. You need your imagination, you need intent, and you definitely have to breathe in order to be good at doing all this. So we've connected mind and heart, and now I want you to go even a step further into another creative portal that you have. If you're a woman, you have your womb portal. If you're a man, you have the Dantian. Dantian works just the same. It's another portal that we create worlds with. Not only are human beings created in the womb space, our worlds are magically being created and woven together with that lower center energy, okay? So what I would like for you to do now is place your hands there in the low belly pelvis area. I want you to feel that warmth of the dantian or the womb. And it doesn't matter if you don't have a physical womb at this point, you still have an energetic womb for creation. And we're utilizing that creative power tonight, because we are so powerful, okay? So see if you can get a little bit of heat going at your hands at that dantian level. Breathe into that. I want you to imagine that in the center of your core is a ball of creative energy, just like in the center of the earth. Gaia has one. She has this hot lava core, center of the earth that she creates with, and you have one too. You have one in your core because your body is a compressed version of her. Okay? Feel the heat starting to build in your hands as you've placed both of your little healing tools, your hands, you've placed them on your womb. Okay? Now bring those powerful, energetic healing tools out. I want you to bring them out. I'm going to try to keep my hands where you can see. And I want you to start to work with the energy between the palm chakras. All right? Like you're pulling taffy, like you're going to come away with it. Can you still feel it? Like a web of energy work. Can you feel that energy? Bring them together. And I love what Raymond Grace always says when he says, your hands are the exclamation points of your mind. So your hands are such sophisticated healing tools in a couple different ways. Like we already discussed, they're the extensions of your heart. Look at this. Your heart center governs all of this, the shoulder, the arm, the hands, and the fingers, okay? Your love literally transfers through the healing tools of your hands. That's your nurturing, maternal love energy coming through. All right. And then they also become an extension of your mind and your intent, because when you're doing energy work, you can weave somebody back together. You can extract something that no longer needs to be in their energetic field or their body. You can insert an enhancement into their energetic field. And when you use your hands to do that, boom, you create more intention. So what I want you to do now, I want you to hold either energy that you are going to give to them if they're in front of you, if they're facing you in your awareness, you're holding them in your awareness. If it's a person you're working on, you're going to use your hands and you're going to connect with them with your hands and see what happens. Do you want to smooth out their energy? Do you want to remove some things that are not of them? What I want your intention to be with your hands, if you're working on a person, is to beautify their energetic field, not to fix anything, not to change them in the way that you think, but have an intention to allow your hands to make their energetic field and their energetic presence the most beautiful. And what I want you to feel, because you're going to be down in here for this, what I want you to feel during this process, feel what would they feel like if they were as beautiful and radiant and successful and healthy and strong as you can imagine. And never forget the power of putting a smile on your face too, because when you smile, you cue your entire body that everything is okay. You tell your nervous system that you're safe. So I want to give you a minute with this, all right? If you're not working with a person tonight, or a pet or a person, you have your technique. If you're working with a situation, I share this teaching in a lot of different types of healing work that I do. Hold that situation in your hands as energy. All right? I want you to hold it in your hands and beautify it. What that means is if something is really frustrating you, or if something is scary to you, or something makes you so painfully sad, like Western North Carolina did me when I came back, I had to hold that in my hands long enough that I could make it beautiful. And it takes a while. You have to get your heart really engaged in this process, and you have to get your imagination involved. All right? Because at first, within your hands might feel prickly. It might feel slimy. It might feel heavy. I want you to just feel, what does this feel like? And how do I want to change it? How do I want to beautify it? How could this feel better between my hands? Notice everything you can notice. Notice the lightness or heaviness, textures. Notice color. So you've had two ways of working with that. The person can be facing you. You're using your hands. You're beautifying their energetic field. You hold a situation within your hands. So I'm going to let you try now. Take a minute.
complete with that, we're at our halfway point. You need to get a little sip of tea. If you need to stretch, dance, move, take a little break moment. And throw in the chat how that experience was for you. We'll start in 2 minutes.
All right. It's always good to get up, to move around a little bit. There's absolutely no reason to get stiff and contracted or start to get stagnant in our bodies while we're trying to do energy work, right? So we have to just be mindful of like what our bodies need during these times where we're sitting, looking at screen. So we've got some shares coming in. I'm excited. Sarah says, remotely clearing my mom's third eye chakra from a fuzzy aura to a clear and crisp feeling that reflects light and was super cool. Oh, I love that. Isn't it interesting too how it will be different than you think? When you do drop into your heart space and you start to enjoy it, and the whole point is you have to feel good. You got to feel good first in order to transmit a feel good frequency over there in quantum entanglement. You got to feel good. And so once that happens and you soften into it and you drop in, the most amazing things happen. And here's why I love it after all these years. How many years is that? Since 2009 in earnest, I began doing distance healing. I'm still getting taught. I love it. Every single time, I don't know what's going to happen. That's what makes it so interesting. Feather says, so cool. When I felt the energy between my hands, it was thick and off-white. When I imagined how it could be, I became super shy. Super airy and flowy. And then my hands moved in a way that I brought all this air through Indigo's system, like a hair blow dryer from the inside, blowing through every part of his being. Oh my goodness, this is so cool. And it was important that the air had no temperature, not warm or cool, but like sensory deprivation, no temperature, just fresh air all throughout. I saw him because I was like connecting in with him today, Feather as well. He was on my mind and he was in my heart already today. And I saw just like new pelt being woven. And that's what's really beautiful about this process when you allow your imagination to engage. And just know that that little voice that's going to say, "Am I making this up? Am I making all this up?" You are the creator. You are the computer. So whatever program you choose to run, that directs out in quantum particles and actually changes the world and creates different energy imprints. So when we have that little doubting mind that goes, "Am I just making this up?" You're changing the whole world is what you're doing when you are strategic and artistic with how you think your thoughts. Because just think up until this point how people have had all this power, right? But they haven't known it. So they're just thinking all these thoughts and creating this collective experience of this world. And now we know, oh, we've got to be really responsible with these thoughts. We've got to be strategic and artistic with how we are creating and the energy imprints that we are building. We're building these individually and together. So aligning your frequency with a dog, a human, a country, a place on planet Earth, it does not simply happen. You got to feel good before you quantumly entangle with another energetic field. That will be some of the most intense work you have to do, will come on the front end if you are worried about the person or the situation. That is what people ask me when they're like, well, should I do distance healing symbols or should I do the shamanic way of getting there into a remote session journey, or should I do it in my own style that I make up like I do now? None of that matters. All of that is like going to depend on what makes you feel more effective and what helps you get there, what kind of rituals, what kind of spiritual hygiene and practices you do to get there. But the one thing that will throw you off and make you not good is if you don't feel good. And so that is how you have to spend your time in preparation to begin with. This is just a photo of the auric field and all the different layers and levels that you are also affecting when you do this work. You are having such a great effect. And I'll be honest, back in Reiki class, Reiki level 2 is the level that you learn distance work when you do your first distance healing. I noticed in my own class of Reiki level 2, nobody wanted to speak up. And then finally somebody would be brave and say, okay, this is what I got, because we were given an assignment in Reiki level 2 where we didn't know anything about person A or person B. We had to decide which one we were going to choose, if we were going to work on A or B. There was a whole list of symptoms and illness and manifestations, whatever they were going through. We didn't know any of it. Okay. And then everybody that wasn't too shy to say, well, this is what I got. And it was like an older lady in a flowery nightgown. Oh, this person there was a dog laying beside this person. They couldn't tell if it was male or female, but there was a dog there. Everybody was right. Everybody was right. And they doubted their ability to do it and held back like, I don't know if what I got from it is right. The more you do this work, the more confidence and trust that you're going to have in what you're doing, which is really, really cool. So like I said, even though I learned Reiki first, it really wasn't until Awakening Your Light Body training came along for me that I got really good at the feeling good part. I would do these light body activations and it was going to a place beyond the chakra system. It was taking me to a very high vibrational space that felt really blissed out. And you can go on their website, orindabin.com is Sanaya Roman and Dwayne Packer's website. These were my teachers. They have hundreds of journeys, hundreds and hundreds of meditations. But what this training did for me is it took me to that higher level of our energetic architecture. It took me to a place in our technology that was the first time I transcended the chakra system, which you are no longer limited to, by the way. You don't need to do this. I want you to understand. This is very crucial that you get this right now. You don't have to bumble around like I did back in 2006 when I discovered this light body activation training. You have it. You already have this. How do you know? How can you work with it? Let me tell you how. The power of your heart field and the love that you have, your love. If you can focus on what you love, you don't need to learn all this. You don't need to spend the time like I did because we weren't in the vibration that we're in now. I want this to liberate your consciousness so much. You're there. You're there. You have this. You already have this. This is the Merkaba. Mer meaning light, Ka spirit, Ba body. It's your light body. It's the same thing. And it's just taught in a different way. It's taught culturally different. Egyptian styles of teaching Merkaba, Kabbalah styles of teaching it. Drunvalo, he's an amazing resource. But what I'm telling you is, you are coming into this. If you've never done Merkaba trainings, if you've never done light body activations, you are that now. We weren't there yet when I really felt called to activate this higher form of our anatomy that goes like way beyond the chakra system, because we're so much more than the chakra system, okay? But I'm putting these little visuals in here for you to remember your ascension vehicle. This is a part of you that is infinite, and it goes way, way beyond chakras and meridians. This is like a part of you that makes a chakra seem like an elbow because you don't stop using and appreciating and working with your elbow just because you know you have energy meridians, right? It's the same thing with this. This is just a part of your energetic field. This is a part of your energetic architecture that is advanced spiritually, okay? But the beauty for you is when it comes to doing distance work or really accelerated meditation is when we were living in such a dense frequency collectively, when I started taking these trainings, you had to position yourself a certain way. You had to tone and make sounds a certain way. You had to place your hands in mudras and visualize all this stuff at the same time because we weren't there. I would teach light body activation for an entire weekend and my chest would be so sore, so physically sore after doing so because I didn't live in my heart yet. Okay? So you might ask me like, well, I don't know if I have my Merkaba activated or not. You do, because the earth does. Like you mimic her. So you're there. You got it. You've got it, and you've always had it. But what will get you to a place of effectiveness with any kind of intuitive development thing you want to do, with any kind of remote healing that you want to do, is love. You've got to take the time to feel love. And we know that that can sound really simple, but in the day-to-day distractions that we live in, that is everything is trying to pull you out of being in love. Every single thing is trying to distract you from feeling that power. Your heart is such a Stargate portal. You can help people in other star systems with it. You can help beings that aren't even on this planet. That's how powerful the human being actually is. And everything in our conditioning has been here to tell us that it's not. Okay? So the very first thing, mission critical, that you've got to do before you do any of this beautifully artistic enhancement work on a beautiful person that you love, a client, an animal, a country, you have got to feel love and you have got to feel good. As simple as that sounds, it's really not, is it? It takes time. It takes skill and it takes effort. All right. So the second technique that we're going to play with and discuss, and I'm going to reiterate about Merkaba fields and light body activation. I don't want you feeling like you got to go and study all the stuff that I did. I'm here to tell you what we did with our hands and our hearts and our minds. You can go there. You can go there by simply having the intention that you want to activate all the sacred geometry in your body, all the portals that make you an ascension portal is what we are. When you take the time to do this, and then going back and review of what are you going to do to cultivate? What are you doing? Are you getting your sunrise light codes? That's one thing that I wanted to say to you all when I was out tonight looking. I ran out there with Kona and I looked at that gorgeous pink sunset light. It was pink and orange and blues. You need the sunset codes. You need the sunrise codes. That will activate you. I worked in a darkened treatment room all those years, and I didn't know about sun codes. I didn't know. I knew about grounding, thank goodness. So at least I was getting my battery charger on the earth. And I'm talking bare feet on the earth, super important. Doesn't matter what the temperature is. You need that. But the sun codes when the sun first comes up and when it goes down, that's your free light body activation DNA. That's it. If you will get out there and get that sunrise light without the obstruction of a windshield or glasses, and I'm talking that safe light right as it comes up, ultimate red therapy, ultimate red light therapy when it goes down as well. If you get that color therapy inside the portals of your eyes, it starts to activate your DNA and you start to have these abilities and your intuition just really comes on board. Your intuitive development comes online in a big way. And you'll notice when you settle yourself in to do distance healing work with someone, you'll notice how much better you get because your light body is being activated. That's a whole lot better than going to take a Merkaba class like what I did. But as I was telling you all before, this is the second distance healing way that I wanted to introduce to you, because what I'm hoping that this 2 hours does is it just inspires you and it ignites you to try different styles, because you're going to have certain techniques and certain ways of doing this that are going to like really work for you. And you're also going to make your own. You're going to cozy in and settle in the more you do this. You're going to find styles and ways of being that make you feel really powerful, that make you feel like you can be a force for good in this world. So shamanic journeying is ancient, and you've never had to, in shamanic training, you never have to have the person there with you. It's nice. You can drum right with them and take them into the journey if they're lying down right with you. But you can do all of that over the phone. And some of my most powerful shamanic journeys have even been when someone just lies down at night to go to sleep, and then I'm working on them. And we've made the agreement, because permission is a big thing. So no matter what technique you want to try with distance healing work, permission. And let's talk about that a little bit. if someone wants you to do a journey with them, they've definitely given you permission. But what if it's a loved one? What if it's a family member that you just want to enhance their well-being? A way that you can ask spirit to spirit, soul to soul, heart to heart, you can just ask with your energy to their energy. You can ask for permission and see if you get a yes or no. You'll get like a very relaxed ease feeling in your body. Your body will feel good if the answer is yes. You can also, you can dowse, you can use a pendulum. If a pendulum is something that you work with, ask for permission. Do you have their permission to work within their energetic field, to hold them in your awareness, like we did earlier, to enhance and refine them? Not everyone wants to get well. We know that. There are soul contracts, there are habits and choices that are made. And sometimes people are just not willing to give that up and they don't want to feel better for whatever reason. So the other thing about these techniques, they're so imaginative and creative. It takes you out of really wanting to affect a certain outcome. Because the truth of the matter is, we don't know what's for the highest good. If you've got an outcome that you're trying to force, you're in your ego. You're not in what we call the 0 point. The 0 point is just allowing and observing everything to flow and being like, oh, look at this. Now I have a paintbrush and now I'm just like painting back in, or I'm weaving gold back in where they had surgery and something was removed. I'm pouring gold light into that part of their body that seems like it's having some trouble right now. Isn't that beautiful? But it's not coming from a place of, I'm going to make this happen, because honestly, we don't know. We don't know what's best for that person with our mind. We come into that vast, creative, loving space of our heart, and we let their soul, our soul, and God do the work. That's not our job. And that's what I'm telling you too. If you're wanting to do this kind of work with clients, it takes away all the performance anxiety. I'm not having to figure it all out with this, right? I can have a pretty good idea what's going on. And then I'm always humbled because I'll get in there and I'll be like, oh, that's not what we're going to do at all. And I'm learning something new. And I'm always taught when I come in open hearted. I'm always taught. But that is truly what has kept it interesting for me for so long. I don't know what's going to happen at any time. You know that Dr. Seuss book, Oh, the Places You'll Go? Yeah, that's how I feel, and how much childlike excitement and curiosity I have with every single distance healing session I get to do. I feel so blessed and privileged and lucky to get to do this kind of work and learn. And these clients teach me. They teach me so much. Thank you, Debbie. Debbie's signing off. She's got to go. So honored to have the opportunity to do this work. Thank you for being here. And yeah, definitely, I'll be sending out the replay so you can catch the rest of the techniques. All right. Have a great evening. So shamanic journey, I love it. It's ultra creative. I've given you like a few quotes here, how shamanic practice dissolves space and time. So long before we had Brian Greene, quantum physicist, I went to hear him speak. I was so into it. He wrote The Elegant Universe. Before we had all this information about quantum entanglement. And here we are intentionally connecting in a quantum way. We had our shamans who could journey and they could connect with every layer and level of existence. And they could find out things that would be helpful to the person that they were working with at that point, on what level was their energy imbalance coming from and what could they help to assist them with. Shamanic journeying is an ancient practice, And I reinforce here with the quotes that I've given you about what shamanic style of remote healing is like, that you're going to need your imagination. You're going to need breath work. I would not be good at doing any of these techniques if I did not incorporate my breath. My breath is the bridge of the spirit and the physical. It truly is. It's the gateway to all of it. Your breath grounds you. It keeps you safe. It gives you good spiritual hygiene in your body, and it also connects you. It connects you spiritually and grounds you at the same time. It's a must. All right. And then, of course, intent. Your intention. You are carrying all of this healing intention, and for the highest possible outcome, whatever that is, and you go into a shamanic journey and you have absolutely no idea what's going to happen, and you get taught. I wanted to share with you Raymond's style of doing this, and I wanted to share with you one of his books, because this book and Raymond Grace, one of my teachers and somebody that I'm very honored to call friend at this point. I've worked with him for a long time. This book, The Future is Yours, Do Something About It. It's so clear. It's so easy to understand. His work is so practical, and that's why I wanted to share with you his style and technique of doing shamanic journey, so that you could see if this is like a remote healing style that you're into. Directing your intent to reshape your world. Is that not so timely and appropriate for us right now? That's what we're doing. And the way that he presents remote healing is it's not mystical, it's engaging your brainwave states, your senses. All right? You engage all the senses in order to drop into alpha brainwave state when you're doing a shamanic journey. Beta brainwave state is where you're super distracted, you're multitasking. So if you find your mind wandering, if you're trying to do this particular technique and style, you're probably in beta. You probably haven't dropped down into alpha. And what he does in his shamanic journey is he has you smell things, look at the colors, taste things. All along the way, each of the senses is being employed. When that happens, you have come into a different state of consciousness. And then you're able to like really intuitively let things develop and work out. So there's an induction style that he uses. He uses a drum. He takes you down steps. Steps is a really easy hypnotherapy induction where you're going down, down, down. Some meditations will take you through an archway. That's another way that you're continuing to go down. You're getting out of beta. You're going to open up into a beautiful destination. And you will notice in many shamanic journeys, not Raymond style, but many of the medicine women that I trained with, you go through like a watery vortex, a birth canal, so to speak. Many of the things in shamanic ancient practices are like womb shamanism, womb wisdom of like a black hole, a body of water that you go down, 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 and then you pop out into a different realm and you begin to work there. So you can visualize helpers. You can ask for your imagination to bring in who would help you work with this person. And then in Raymond's style, he creates a beautiful setting for the healing work to begin and allows the person to magically come on that rock. Like he always uses like a flat rock that is like his little surgery area for energetic surgery, extracting anything that is no longer useful for the person out of their energetic field, out of their body, repairing. This is where shamans always are reweaving different levels of the structured energy field, reweaving and repairing where there's been trauma, where there's been fragmentation, where there's been physical injury or surgery. So this is like where you just let your imagination run wild. So I want to take you here. Just a really, really quick one. It's really fun to see who shows up in these indigenous styles. So I would drum for you, but this is going to be quick. If I was going to take you on a long one, I would have a nice, soft, slow drum beat. If you like this style of remote healing, what I recommend you do is find you some good rhythmic, repetitive shamanic drumming on Spotify, YouTube, anywhere free. Put that on. You don't want it to vary a lot. You want a slow, steady, rhythmic beat that's just in the background, okay? But for our purposes here, I just want you to imagine that you're in a beautiful field of flowers with me. I love flowers. I love looking at all their colors. I love smelling them. I love feeling the texture of the petals. So I want you to imagine the most gorgeous field of wildflowers you have ever seen in your life. And as you're walking through these beautiful flowers, the sun is shining on you. It's illuminating your path. You're noticing all the different colors, shapes, and textures of these flowers. And you lean down to smell one, and it's just the most wonderful smell you've ever experienced. You take that in through your lungs, through your nasal passages, and it's intoxicating. The sun is beating down on your body, and you smile as the sun kisses your face. And you continue to walk through this beautiful field, and you notice a sacred ceremonial circle up ahead with huge stones. It's a medicine wheel circle. As you come closer, there's a pine tree right at the east gate entrance of the stone walkway. And you smell that pine tree. You feel the little pine needles, and you even break one off so that you can get an even better smell. You break that little pine needle off, and then you notice that it regenerates itself and it heals right back onto the tree when you put the pine needle back. You walk closer to this sacred ceremonial site, and you notice as you enter through the east gate, you hear those drums. You hear ancient drum beats from off in the distance. And the wind is caressing you. It's just a perfect breeze. Just perfect. And as you look in the center of this medicine wheel, there's a cup of tea someone has placed for you, and it's just your favorite tea. They knew you were coming. It's your favorite flavor of tea. Steam is coming off the cup, and it's been placed so lovingly for you in ceremony. You pick up that cup of tea as you walk into this sacred circle. You feel the steam hit your face, and you drink. And it's the most flavorful, gorgeous tasting tea you have ever had. You swallow it, feeling so thankful and appreciation. And you look around at all these gorgeous stones in this medicine wheel. This sacred circle was made for you to do healing work. This is your place to visit anytime you wish to bring someone into a healing ceremony with you. You honor the four directions, giving thanks to all the different parts of yourself that you're calling together. Your inner child, your adolescent teenager, your adult shaman, and your old wise one. They all come together. And you call in any guides that you like to work with, any ascended masters or high-level angels that wish to come in and work with you now. They're invited into your sacred medicine wheel. There is a rock that is so flat and beautiful in the center of this medicine wheel. And you notice that the person that you could be the most helpful to in this moment, at this time, appears on that rock. They are lying there, fully giving you permission to do some healing work. You may ask for fifth level surgeons. These are energy workers who can come in and remove and extract things out of our energy field that are no longer useful. You can ask for that kind of help. You might even find that healing tools show up that you could use. You may weave this person or creature back together. And it might be interesting for you who shows up on that rock for you to help and enhance their energy now. Take some time with this, and I'm going to let you enjoy this for a moment and just see what happens. So typically we would take more time, but this is just to show you a few styles and examples to see what you like and what feels good. So wherever you are, you might not be complete with this yet. This is something that you can revisit. And in shamanism, everything is about reciprocity. So always giving thanks for any helpers who showed up for this beautiful soul creature, whoever allowed you to enhance their energetic field and to create wholeness and well-being for them. To give gifts in shamanic ceremony and journey is very appropriate. So sometimes things will just come to you that you want to offer to that person. Just now, as mine was just happening and unfolding, the person who showed up on my rock, I handed him back his crown, where it was like his crown, his royalty, his divinity, was fragmented away from him. And so it just felt really complete to just put that on and be like, you are holy, you are noble. And to see this person like that, to see them always visualizing anyone you work with in the very highest state of well-being you can imagine. And the higher your vibration goes, the more you increase the frequency you can hold, the more you can visualize, the more you can see them growing and prospering and just being radiantly happy. And when you can feel that, you can share that energetic imprint with them. And all of a sudden, you're enjoying them in the highest state, the highest expression that you can create. And so it's always giving thanks to the four directions, giving thanks for that ceremonial space that we've created, and knowing that you can revisit it anytime that you want. This is the closest rendering I could find of where it looks like where I go. And this is my holy place that I can visit, and I can work with someone or some situation in a shamanic sense. It's very empowering. It's very empowering to go to this place. And like I said, the things that happen there are not ever what I expect. And most of the time, not who I expect to show up. So I would love to know for any of you who are coming back from that one, if that one felt more difficult or if it felt more right, just in your bones and your body, like, yeah, I could do that. But just like anything, what I want you to know, these are skill sets. There are so many shamanic journeys on YouTube and so many meditations that you can do. You can practice this and get really, really good at doing this, just like anything. Just like anything you want to do. You have to do it often to get good at it, right? That's the funny thing that I notice about energy work. Lots of times people are just frustrated when like they've never done it, but they're like, well, why can't I do this perfectly? I'm like, this is just like playing an instrument. It's like anything you want to do well, you have to spend the time. The more you do it too, the more I'm telling you, you're going to trust what happens. You're going to trust the plants that just come to your awareness for this person, or the animals that just show up. Had another really interesting one with that person, crab. I've never had a crab totem show up before. So that just happened. So these are all things that all I'm doing is introducing them to you. So hopefully you fall in love with one or more of these and you want to give this your best shot and really refine and hone your abilities, because there's no wrong way to do this. The only thing that will make you ineffective at doing this is if you don't take the time to feel good. I'm going to emphasize that yet again. All right, so I didn't put a lot about Reiki in here because Reiki is a build on principles and ritual and symbols. Reiki is really symbolic. So it does have its origins in Tibetan Buddhism. And I think that that's why in massage school, I was just like totally turned off. Like, oh no, I don't want that, because I wasn't into all that. You know, when I was first introduced to it, polarity was a lot more palatable for me, like with my belief system and my upbringing. I did not feel drawn to Reiki. It wasn't until I didn't take my Reiki training and really understand the Tibetan origins of it until 2001 was Reiki 1, 2002 I took Reiki 2, and when I got my master training certification in 2003, I started teaching it. It really knocked my socks off in its power, and what I have come to appreciate and realize about Reiki, along with all modalities, it's the intention reinforcement. So this is Hon Shaze Shonin, what I'm showing you. I don't expect you to know what to do with it, but in the course of getting the different degrees and levels of Reiki, you do know what to do with it. And the protocol that they use for distance healing is you create this, whether you write it or whether you do it in the air, and you do all the shapes and you do it very, very precisely. Okay. And the way that it was described to me is like you are dialing in, you're dialing up that number. And to me, that's what a Sanskrit mantra is. That's what so many symbols are. When you get to the master level of Reiki, you receive in meditation and attunement, you receive your personal healing symbol, which is so beautiful, so wonderful, because it's like your essence, it's your energetic imprint that you're giving to everyone that you ever come in contact with in healing work. They've got that little piece of you in their lineage. And I love my lineage of Usui Reiki Ryoho, which is what this comes from. And so this is Hon Shaze Shonin. And I just wanted to show it to you. I feel like, along with what I showed you about the Merkaba, I think we're beyond it, unless you just love it. If you're like, I want to make my own symbol, I want to make a sigil that represents how I'm going to dial in and seal my intention, and that will be my protocol, that will be my way of getting myself there. Because a big part of you doing this remote healing, like I have my little ways that I set my space up, and I have little things that I do. And it was so funny. I was just telling Amanda, who's she may be watching the replay. I don't know if you're in here right now, Amanda, or not, but the other day I got all dressed up and I felt like I was going on a date because we were going to do a session. But the preparation that you do is so special and sacred. And that's what I want this to be for you. I want you to really cultivate yourself, your space. And there's two different ways to look at this. Okay. I want you to have technique and skill to where you can be anywhere in the world and anything's going on, and you could affect a positive change over there on the other side of the room, on the other side of the world. You don't need a thing, right? I don't want you to feel limited and disempowered by, oh no, I don't have my sage, or I don't have this particular stone, or whatever it is. But the sensory delight of really cultivating your workspace to do this and settling yourself in to make it special, that is also really wonderful. So both are great. Okay. I want you so empowered that you think of someone and they're going through something, or you think of a group of people that are suffering. And instead of just feeling so sad or so horrified at something that's happened to someone, that it really dips your frequency down and disempowers you completely, you go, ah, I have skills, I have tools in my toolbox. I can create a new energy imprint ripple out effect for this. Now, like we talked about, it will be harder. This is the protocol for Reiki. I didn't know how much time I would have, and so that's why I left Reiki to the end, because I would much rather you guys be practicing the first two technique ways that I showed you, because I feel like they're more for the times. But I didn't want to leave this out completely, because I was like, somebody might just totally love Hon Shaze Shonin. Okay. Yes, timely and needed. So this is, let's see, this protocol was made in the 1800s. We're different now, but I think it's beautiful. I think you can bring in a doll, a teddy bear, like it talks about. You can definitely have a photo. You can definitely have like like I have this set up with a crystal grid around for my people at Chimney Rock. And what I do, and hey, I can give you the steps to do the symbol and try it. Try it and see if it feels powerful. Back in the old age of Pisces and all the secretism, like we couldn't tell, everything was exclusive, and you had to be in the club, and you had to get this certification, and you had to get this training. You weren't supposed to share the symbols in Reiki. Okay. We are no longer in the age of Pisces. I'm like, if this works for you, if this is effective for you, there's been a lot of beautiful intention put into the symbol. That means, just like the basic Reiki level 1 Chokurei means put the power here. How beautiful is that? This, loosely translated, the origin of all is pure consciousness. If it helps you to have a little object, like a little doll or a surrogate of something, if you're going to work around the table, what happened to me is, I wanted to tell you all this. Bye, those of you who have to leave. I love you. What I wanted to tell you all is what started me in earnest, and I think I'm done, other than these are just other types that we haven't even gotten into yet, but they're also really wonderful. And I didn't know how much I would be able to cover. I've got all these people that I wanted to tell you all their different styles and how cool they are with what they do. So I'm gonna stop the share if I can. Let's see. Well, usually I have a little thing that says stop share. Hi, hello. Can y'all see me okay? So in 2009, like I told you, I had learned the distance techniques. I had learned the light body activations. I really didn't have to do much of that because, I mean, I was too busy. I was busy doing my in-person sessions all the time. So that's why it took me from learning all this stuff starting in 2002 to actually in 2009, I had a client who moved to Washington State. She was going through a lot. She missed me. She missed our work together. And she said, "Can you do remote healing?" And I was like, well, yeah. I was like, I've been trained in it, you know? She was going through a really bad divorce, and she had all this expensive jewelry. And she was like, I don't have any money because of this divorce, but I value you so much. What if I just sent you all this jewelry I had as an energy exchange? Would you just do remote healing sessions with me? Well, I did. And it was so win-win because she was my one and only remote healing client at that point. We were working together every week. We were doing so much together. I was learning. I was growing in my abilities to do that leaps and bounds. I was feeling a lot more confident that I could do it because of the consistency of she and I working together. And she was being supported and held through this big transformative process that she was going through. What I realized during that time is I used my table because my muscle memory and habit was to be walking around a table, working around a table. And so I was just acting like she was there. No one taught me to do that. It just felt right to me and it was to my comfort zone. So what I would like for you to do is if you are doing any modalities, any form of energy work at this point, do what feels right. That could be like we did in the very beginning of heart to heart. Hold someone in your awareness, close your eyes even, and just start working. You may want to smooth them out. You may want to fluff their chi and energize them. You truly might start doing psychic surgery and removing things that are implants, cords, hooks, tentacles, ways that their energetic field has been damaged. All these things are possible. And you won't know until you just open your heart, relax your mind. Don't try to have it all figured out with your mind because your mind is not going to know. It's not going to know. But I promise you, from 2009 to this day, I'm still learning. And that's just a beautiful, beautiful thing. So I just wanted to see all of you, how many that we had on here and how beautiful you all are for coming on and sharing your love and sharing all of your intention and power and magic and wisdom. I am so moved at the power that we have together. Together, we are powerful. And I want you to continue to come home to that power. Anything that we've been able to do tonight, revisit these techniques in the days ahead, because it's not like we just all of a sudden never get thrown off course again. Life will continue to distract us and divert us from our soul mission and our soul purpose. We know why we came here. We came here to elevate consciousness and serve and make this world a better place. That's what we've done tonight. We've created an energy imprint ripple out effect that will change the course of everything. And I want you to continue to come back to that knowing, that realization that, oh, you have to feel good. First and foremost, before you try to bring all parts of you together to hold space and facilitate for anybody else. And the less you know about them, the easier it will be. The closer they are to you in your life, the more work it takes, the more spiritual hygiene, the more prep, but you can do it. You can do this. I'm here. This is what I teach all the time. You all can have a 7-day free trial into my mentorship program. I do a monthly mentorship and I just teach you this stuff constantly because it's my passion, it's my love. And also, I wanted to tell you as we wrap up, you are the healing tool. There is no tuning fork. I've got tuning forks around here. I've got all these like fun things that I use, but I want you to know you are the healing instrument. You are the frequency device. So the better care you take of this gorgeous vessel supercomputer, the more magic you can do. And I'm actually going to do a retreat at Serpent Mound in March, where all we do is just fine tune this healing instrument and connect and heal the land, heal the water, heal ourselves. I love you all. I'm so grateful. Please reach out to me with questions about anything that we did. I hope you got some useful new skills and things to think about and new tools to use in every part of your life. And remember, You don't have to just use this work with people or pets. You can use it with any situation. You can use it with any location. There are places on this earth, the actual grid work of the earth and the geographic regions that need you. They need your healing. And all you have to have is an open heart and a desire to do so. So there's plenty more of this kind of training where this came from. Reach out to me if you want to learn more. And I love you all very much. Thank you for being here.